Welcome to Behind the Listing. I'm your host, Maria Comitto, founder of Homeowners Connect. And today I'm here with Jennifer Souza, founder of Owning South Florida.
I moved here from Dallas, Texas, Metroplex, about 6 years ago with my family. And I felt that I wasn't really educated on the different areas like I should have been. I didn't understand that, there's a huge difference in East Boca and East Del Rey, West Boca, West Del Rey, the Central Boca. So you need to know the areas and what each neighborhood offers. So you have guidance for what your lifestyle is with your family. And I thought if I do my brand, I could do my own way. I could really educate the people. I could explain to them buying, new construction.
Sure.
You go into the model home and everything is beautiful and they have window treatments done and they have moldings on the wall, and the furniture and the lighting, they don't really explain what the costs are. And so then you have a client that buys new construction and they're delivered white walls.
So true.
So I just felt like, I want to educate more. I want them to understand what they're buying.
So you really saw that with new construction, when people are buying a GL home in a community, these houses are done from start to finish. And now you need to piece that together for them when they first go look at a model. What are some of the questions that they ask you when looking at these homes?
Well, they don't understand. Sometimes you need to know the school districts and, there's a school for everyone. And you got to figure out if you do have children, then this is a big important piece, right? The drive time. They don't understand the exposures when you move here. If you want full sun all day, you do south. If you want morning sun, it's east. Like you have to understand that.
So let's talk about that. Let's pause there for a moment. So when picking out, we're going to talk on new construction right now. And in new construction, let's talk about some of the different communities that are in the, let's call it West Boca versus East Boca. Because like you said, they're very different. West Boca, you got large gated communities. East Boca, you have condominiums going up and custom built modern homes. So tell me a little bit about some of the large gated communities in West Boca.
So GL did a great job with the lifestyle. Like I said, I came from Texas and there's no development like that. They really cracked the code with the lifestyle.
Yeah. I agree.
If you're moving, we have people moving from all over the United States. And how else do you get community? If you're in one of these communities, then you meet people. You have activities there.
That's how I met you.
I know.
So we were neighbors, right? Yeah. That's how it kind of all started.
And you have to love where you live. And that's my tagline.
Yes, it's so true.
It is true.
Yeah. So Jennifer was my neighbor in Boca Bridges, and we both built new construction there.
Well, I did a spec home.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
That everyone looked at.
Yes.
And everyone almost bought it. And I was the one that ended up getting it because it was during COVID.
And the best part about her spec home is that she's completely customized every inch of it, from the moment you walk through the door till you walk into her amazing kitchen to upstairs, her office space. It looks better than most of the models. And she's going to talk about that a little bit later. But let's talk about Boca Bridges. How is it being one of the top realtors in the community and living there and knowing the neighbors and building relationships with them, but also providing a professional service to them?
So last year I closed 43% of the sales.
That's incredible.
And but it's about relationships. It's, I don't want to lie to a person on a listing appointment. I'd rather not get the listing. There's a lot of ego when you're listing your house.
Yes.
And they see what it's listed for, but they don't see what it's sold for. They don't see how many days on the market. And you have to understand, does it have a generator? Does it have a water filtration?
Sure.
What type of floors do you have? What exposure? Do you have a modern elevation? Do you have transitional? Do you have traditional?
Sure.
what options do you have? Do you have the Savant system? Do you have
Mhm.
Lutron?
Mhm.
Do you have a sparkling water machine?
Mm.
Do you have, the wine fridge? Which wine fridge? What appliance package do you have? Anyone that watches it, they're going to know this neighborhood is different than any other one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you probably help them a lot before when they're buying a home to really understand what the assets are in the home so that they know what they're truly paying for and what they may have to replace, right? Because a lot of people I'm hearing in this new construction community are even replacing their AC units.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, they have to service the unit.
Yeah.
They need the UV light. There's
air purification.
Right? There's mold. There's been a lot of problems with mold.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They have to really kind of look at the maintenance of it. And it's been a big learning experience. And I want to treat everyone the way I want to be treated.
Sure. All right.
I love you.
So I want to talk about the strong presence that you've built in Boca Bridges and how you've truly distinguished yourself from other agents in the community while also working alongside of them, where sometimes you guys will be on listings together, or sometimes you'll be the selling agent and they'll bring in the buyer. So let's talk a little bit about how you distinguish yourself in Boca Bridges as an agent and as a neighbor.
I do a lot of work with Colby Burton. He's great. We both do separate things outside the community. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of fun with him when we do that. If you ask any of my neighbors, especially the one right to the right of me, I call it art project time. Mm-hmm. So whenever I see...
You go above and beyond.
I go above and beyond. When I see someone throwing something away, and I see potential in it, I could be on a showing. And if it's at the trash, I'll pick it up and I'll paint it and I refurbish it and it looks amazing. You know, I love design.
I definitely think that you enhance the homes and you find purpose for things to really help bring the whole home come together.
Yeah. We've secured the two top listings for rentals. We rented the Vanderbilt for $50,000 a month. That's the large floor plan in Boca Bridges.
Yeah.
We right now, the next 3 weeks, stay tuned. Mm-hmm. I am staging a home there. I'm going to do the whole house in 3 weeks. The client's going to move in.
So let's talk about when you're staging a home and you meet with a homeowner and they're like, listen, we're moving everything out. The house is going to be empty. What is your process with expectations for getting it on the market in a timely manner?
Well, expectations is not reality all the time. I try and hear them out. And, if they listen to me, then it goes a lot smoother. But I understand that everyone has, their own vision. If it's I have to support it. But you can't do touch-up paint. You got to paint the whole house.
Yeah,
you can't be cheap with that, because when people enter the home, you have 3 to 5 seconds to capture them. And if they start seeing imperfections in the walls, they're going to see everything. You need all the light bulbs to be the same color.
So painting when staging is something,
and staging.
Yeah. That you really make sure the homeowner understands the value of that. What about placing furniture in the home? Do you do it by room? Do you do the entire home? Do you select specific rooms that are most important when it comes to staging a home?
Yes, you do. It just depends on their budget. For example, the one I have now, they gave me an amount and I'm going to stage almost 9,000 square feet.
That's incredible.
And it's, you need artwork. You need to make sure that the rug is big enough that all the furniture sits on top of it. It needs to be proportionate with the room. It's gotta flow. You can't have a modern, living room set with a modern organic dining room with a farmhouse, living room. So it's all got to flow.
I like that. So making sure each space really works itself through each other and that when someone's coming to see the home, they're feeling this sense of, okay, this home has been well designed, or things that have been selected are well appointed for the space and it fits the space. So let me ask you, staging a home 9,000 square feet, how long does that take?
Well, with me and Carissa, we can do this in, I think, 3 weeks, 2.5.
Okay.
I have developed good relationships with my guys. You know, I have a plumber, I have an electrician, I have a handy guy, I've got my landscaping guy, my power washing company. And I've noticed that when I call, they come right away. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but in Florida, that's kind of hard. So I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful for these guys. And I think it's like one team. My husband, his team at work is one team, one goal. And I think it's true that like there's no I in team. You know, that's another reason why I didn't do the Jennifer Souza team. I did Owning South Florida because I want to create one network where we're working together, you know, and we're helping each other. Everyone's benefiting.
Yeah, no, you know, Jen, and that's really why I wanted to start Homeowners Connect too, to bring like-minded professionals together that all share the same work ethic, the same value for their clients to really deliver exceptional work. And I feel like what you're doing with Owning South Florida and delivering a concierge luxury real estate service, that's who's part of your team. And it's a compliment to one another, and it's an added service to your clients. So talk to me a little bit about your team with Owning South Florida and some of the members. I know you have different people that focus on different services, and you guys all work together collectively. Do you want to tell me a little bit about those different team members?
Well, the 3 team members that I've selected, you know, they all have a special place in my heart. But the main thing, you know, my husband said something to me the other day. He said, you know, Jen, I'm proud of you. He said, the 3 people you selected, they're not transactional. You could tell that they really care. And that's me. Like, I really do care. I do want to help you. All of us, like, you know, you call at 8 o'clock at night, you know, I may not be able to pick up the phone because my 10-year-old is throwing a fit about me taking the iPad away. But I'll text you, you know? So it's like everyone that I'm working with, they are like me. You know, they want to help. They want to, you know, if you're moving from from the Northeast, or if you're moving from Texas, California, Canada, we're here. We're here to help you. You know, we all have kids and we know what it is to move. Actually, all of us have moved, have relocated.
Sure.
Philadelphia, Brazil, you know, New York, Texas. So we all have a different flair, you know?
So Boca Bridges is where you call home. And
that's what, you know, love where you live. That's what I started that.
So Jennifer, as part of your Owning South Florida team, you have 2 other agents that also live in Boca Bridges with you. Can you tell us a little bit about them as well?
They're amazing, and I could not be more excited to have them. So you have Luciana Webb. She's originally from Brazil. I think they moved to Canada and then Florida.
Okay.
And she's amazing. The biggest heart, and she like really wants the best for the client. She's so sweet. She speaks Portuguese. So we are really going to hone in on the Brazilian market. There's a lot of opportunity there.
Do you see a lot of people moving into these large gated communities where they're offering a country club lifestyle and a community where they can really raise their children and families here from the Brazilian area and other countries?
I do. We have a big Brazilian presence here, and I'm married to a Brazilian man, and but I understand Portuguese. I don't speak it, so I think I do, but then you wouldn't have any respect for me because it comes out all wrong. It's a very, very hard language. You know, I know the words I need to.
So that makes a significant difference having somebody on your team.
Very important. I do understand that, you know, when you're doing a transaction, and if your English is not good, then you prefer a Brazilian, you know, like a Portuguese speaking person. So I am very blessed to have her on my team. I'm very excited about the future.
That's great. That's excellent. All right. So let's talk about now Sherilyn. So we'll talk about her next. Sherilyn is another agent that also lives in Boca Bridges and is part of the Owning South Florida team.
So Sherilyn is actually my neighbor. And remember when I was telling you about art class, that's the side yard, that's where I sit and I do my little projects, and it could be 11 o'clock at night and she's in the kitchen and she'll send me a text and say, are you doing a project right now? She would see me in the garage. So it's kind of funny. Sherilyn Lago Marcino is from up north, and they relocated. They lived in Boca for a while. They're trying to find their neighborhood. And I was the agent on their home, and she was an agent. And so we connected, and she's got twins. I've got twins, and I've got twin girls. She's got twin girls and an older one. So we've really connected on that. I'm ahead of her, with the ages. And so it's good. And she's very professional. She's willing to help. And I'm very blessed to have her on my team as well.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that not only do you live in Boca Bridges, but two other agents, part of Owning South Florida, lives in Boca Bridges as well. And these relationships really go beyond business. They become extended family. And I think that's something that when working with Jennifer, people feel immediately that she truly becomes part of your family, treats your home as if it's her own, and is very considerate of the time spent when it comes to showing your home or listing your home or helping you find your next home.
I'm human and I'm not perfect by any means. But I can tell you one thing, like I give you my all. I'll do everything I can. I will go. So many clients I have went and, I had one house in Lotus Edge a couple months ago. I went and it was a divorce and the house wasn't accessorized. I went and bought $1,200 in art, and I had my painter, my electrician help me. The neighbors in Boca Bridges are great. Like on trash day, there's always something, that someone's changing out and they want to throw it away. I'm like, no, don't throw it away. And
that'll have to be the next episode.
That's a whole. That's
what
a whole
did Jen
series.
find in the Boca Bridges neighbors trash that she could use for
that
staging?
Is a whole series, and we have to do video because you won't even believe it.
It's incredible.
I love it.
It is incredible. I've seen a lot of the transformation. So Jen, you've really built a strong presence in Boca Bridges with you and your two other realtors part of your team. But you have a third realtor that's also part of the team that has really become a very close relationship of yours and has filled a gap that you found a need for when it comes to providing a service for these homeowners from start to finish with their projects. So can you tell us a little bit about Carissa Pucci?
She is amazing. She is, I joke, I'm like, you're my director of operations. She has turned into just like a sister I never had. I'm an only child. So she has learned how to read my mind. I can multitask like no other, but there's only one of me and so much time. I can go into a house and I could look at something and I see, okay, we need to paint, we need to do molding, we need to do the lighting. Let's do some trim here. But when you're talking with a client, I can't go in there and say, hey, we're going to decorate your house in 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're also only one person.
I'm one
so
person.
You need those resources.
So she is amazing because she thinks just like me, and we brainstorm together, and then she does like the process. And that way, I'm moving along the real estate. She's doing the construction. She's amazing. She'll go and get the best price for the client and does the measuring, meets them. If someone's in your home, she's going every day to check on the project. It's been great. I say that I always throw Carissa out to the fires, and she's like a firefighter, and we're making it right. And we work really well together.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've seen you both on a lot of projects, and it's incredible to see the synergy between both Jennifer and Carissa with making sure the client's needs are met, making sure the right people are brought in to get the job done.
You have to make sure everyone's happy. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. It's really what we all try and do.
Sure.
And that's what I like about the team that I selected. I really do think that they have the vision. They see, they see the opportunity. They see where I want to go with it,
I definitely can understand that. So because you call Boca Bridges home, it really impacts you with the relationships, the neighbors, the people that you live alongside of and not just do business with.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about owning South Florida, where it started, your vision for where you want it to go, which I know is huge. And I'm excited to be part of that. So share a little bit with me. Let's talk about the background, where you first started.
Came into Boca Bridges and I thought, you open your mailbox and you see just listed. That's not my style. I want something different. It's got to be spicy, but professional.
Yes.
I want to do different things. So how I started was, okay, I've got to bring value. I get a million of these flyers. The community chats, the agents are on there all the time. That's great. But it's like, I did this, I did that. You got to really offer value,
I agree.
And so I said, you know what? I'm going to do little packages.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can't do it. You'll get in trouble with the HOA, but I got it done. I think people got to see that I am not blonde hair, whatever.
No.
I work, and I delivered packages. I did market updates. I did, right before hurricane season, at the end of the school year, I did a little box with sunscreens and hand sanitizers for the kids. And then I did a schedule of what, West Boca had to offer. I was different,
Yeah.
And I think that people would see me delivering something. And I don't know if they thought I was robbing their house, but they would come outside and I'd say, hi, I'm Jennifer. And, and I would talk and then I created the relationships and it was real relationships, when I see these people, I don't want to talk about work. I don't want to talk about the market. How's your grandma? How's your mom? What's going on with your kids? Are they in college? I want to get to know them. I want to be there for them,
You want to connect with them 100%. And I love that about you. I love that you know how to keep it professional, but at the same time, you know how to build a relationship that's going to last. Hence our relationship. And I love our working relationship, our personal relationship. If a neighbor came to you in the community and said, I'm interested in listing my home, I'm not sure yet though, because I have a little bit of time, what's really the starting point when someone says, I'm interested in listing and I want to understand how much my home could be worth? Because I know that's a big topic.
I am as real as it gets. Sometimes I'm too real, but I'd rather put my head on the pillow at night and know that I told them the truth. I'm not just trying to get a listing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to do the right thing for everyone. First of all, I don't want to I do so much marketing now and my time is limited. I have to be very careful with my time and my schedule because then it goes into my family. So I tell them, I'm like, this is what you have. I've learned now, I can't just give the number because it would go a little up, a little down. No real estate agent has a crystal ball. Okay. And especially in Boca Bridges. I have the experience, I have the knowledge, I have the work ethic, and, I can give you a range. And if your house hasn't sold in 30 days, it's overpriced, And, we do have, probably 6 or 7 people that really hone in, they did a good job in the neighborhood, but there's a lot that, they'll list the homes wrong in the area. And that's a dead giveaway that they don't work the area. So I do recommend when you're selling a home, honestly, if you have someone that you really feel that hones in on a neighborhood and works all the time, answers their phone, that's half of the battle, that will show your home at 8:00 at night, that will show it on a holiday, that has a team that's like that, go with them. Don't call me if I don't work the area. That's not what's good for you.
All right, Jen, I want you to share some funny stories with us about getting houses staged, getting houses ready for listing, and what really truly happens behind the scenes of a listing.
There are so many stories. I could go on and on and on. I've closed a deal on a camel before.
On a
and
camel?
Turkey. Her house was closing, and I was having to make calls, and we were in the middle of negotiations, and I was in Turkey with my family, and I was on a camel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. So selling houses on Christmas and closing, selling houses on camels while riding in the desert. What is it
Yeah.
that you don't do, Jen?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I love real estate, and I mean, I love helping people. Every day is something different, and it's amazing, and it's funny, and it's one of a kind.
And Jen, I think you truly do love where you live.
I really do. I love where I live. I want to, when I'm helping a client, whether it's where I live or in another neighborhood, I want to make sure that they find what works for their lifestyle, their budget, make them happy where they love where they live.
When did you realize this really was truly something much bigger than real estate?
I think it was when I closed a home, maybe my third or fourth transaction, and it was a divorce. And when the woman called me the next day and she told me that she had had peace for the first time in 18 years. And then I thought, oh my gosh, because I kind of pushed it along to help her, and I thought, this is about more than a transaction. It really is. It's about everyone's going through something different, and selling a house is the most stressful thing, your highs and your lows. And I really do empathize with people. I do want to help. My broker sometimes says, you go above and beyond. I do, because at the end of the day, when I put my head on the pillow at night, I want to make a difference. It's, when you sell a house, it's great. You make, a check, and it's great. But it's not about that. It's about so much more. It's about, a divorce or someone that's sick and they have to sell their home, or they lose their job, or they have to relocate. And they're really trusting you and your knowledge to help them. It all goes back to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I do have the ability, to look at something and transform it and help. So why not? I look at the world, if everyone could help everyone, we wouldn't have a world full of, I can't say a bad word on camera, but, it just make a difference. If you can do something, then do it. Help.
Listing price versus sold price, what the difference is between the two, and setting these realistic expectations for homeowners looking to capitalize on the market right now in Palm Beach County.
The listing price is very different than the sold price. Whenever I go into a listing appointment, I'll kind of hear them talk, and, I'm going to show them the data. I'm going to show them, here's the comps. This is what's closed. And, then I'm going to go through the home and really go through all the upgrades and try and give them the information. That way I can educate them. I try and educate and not just come in and say, well, I would sell it for this amount. I want to tell them why. I'll even bring my laptop in. My last listing, and I went through their competition, and I went through each picture, and I said, okay, they have this, they have that, you don't, or you have this, you have that, and then I let them come up with a number, and I said, if it doesn't sell in 30 days, we're too high. My range would be, and then I give them a $300,000 range. And, there's no magic or crystal ball, it's here's the comps, here's what's sold, certain neighborhoods like Boca Bridges is, you have to know what you're doing in there, or something's going to sit, and I think it's just a waste of time for everyone.
Jen, I want you to share with us 2 key people that you have as part of your Owning South Florida team that really help with a very unique service.
Let's face it, no one loves moving. And, you have to declutter, you have to organize. And with the schedules that everyone leads today, it can be overwhelming. And I've learned, sometimes you need to hire it out to help you to get it done, to be efficient on time. And I have two amazing women that help me. I have a packing specialist and I have an organizer. I recommend them to get the job done.
Talk to me a little bit about one of the newest new construction communities, Lotus Edge. It seems to be people are buying in there. It's selling very quickly, but they're also already starting to see resales on the market. So talk to me a little bit about that since you have one of them.
Oh, yes. I have a great one on a Long Lakeview. You have to wait a year when you buy new construction, unless it's a hardship. So you do have people starting to go on market. Lotus Edge they've done a good job with it. The clubhouse is going to be amazing. It's about to open. I think they're like at 78% already sold out. So it's a great opportunity to get in if you want to do new construction. You do need an agent when you go in there because, the agent is there for your interest, can, do the new build, go and see everything and move it along, make sure everything's being done correctly. There's some great opportunities there. The Lotus Edge is going to have a 39,000 square foot clubhouse. It's going to offer inside a restaurant, they're going to have a kids room, a gym. They're going to have a sauna, pickleball, padel, tennis. They have the classes that are included. They have events for the kids. When there's not school, they'll have little camps for them. They have a lifestyle director. They do have the yoga garden for anyone that does yoga. I don't have time to do yoga, but I hear that it's amazing. They have the playground. They'll have the basketball court, the little pool, water park area for the kids. They have a sauna, a lap pool, a huge community resort pool. The restaurant will go outside, where you have like the QR codes at the table. They'll come and, it's like resort type living.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
amazing.
this is truly a dream for anyone looking to move from the Northeast, which you have a lot of people relocating from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, down here to South Florida and experiencing these communities with these amenities that Jen just told us about that they didn't even know existed. So
that's how you have the lifestyle when you're moving. If you don't have family here, who do you know? That is why you have to know, every area offers something different.
Boca Bridges, the third community out of 3 Bridges collections, one of the newer ones, again, where Jen lives as a resident realtor. Talk to me about the other 2 Bridges communities within the area, the Bridges and 7 Bridges, and how they differentiate and how you can help a buyer determine which one might be the right one for them.
Well, I think they're all great. The Bridges, it was the first product that they did. It is the flagship. It's amazing. I love the neighborhood. It's established. It's smaller, so everyone got a little bit bigger. I think that they did an amazing job with it. You can get a good property in there for a good value.
So Jen, share with me about 7 Bridges. And yes, I live there. It's one of my favorite communities. Coming from Boca Bridges to 7 Bridges, there is a difference. Tell me a little bit about how when you're selling 7 Bridges to a client, what the features are.
7 Bridges is amazing. It is a little bit bigger than Boca Bridges. And the drive up a hill is different. It's more traditional, like Mediterranean. It's beautiful. The trees are grown. They have a larger gym. They do have a restaurant in there. They have a Starbucks in there. So if you love coffee, they have Starbucks. It's different options. It's a beautiful area. You can get a great price on a home. So I recommend this one as well.
Jen, tell me a little bit about one of the homes you did in 7 Bridges where you remodeled the entire thing and every single room in it to really, truly make it feel like a custom estate, which sometimes with a lot of these communities, they can feel a little cookie cutter. So let's talk about that house that you did.
So this was a client of ours, and we helped her buy this through a FaceTime call. She is a podcaster, and so super busy. She doesn't talk on the phone. So everything was a like, a dislike, or a heart. And I knew her as a client. I mean, she's turned into a very dear friend of mine. But when I first met her, it was like, here's my credit card, like, dislike, heart, send me pictures. They were in LA. She had 3 girls. They were moving back, and we got a great home. It was a Empire section home, and it needed some love to it. It was, anyone that lives in the neighborhood knows that it's the house on the cul-de-sac on Matisse, and it was overgrown. It took my landscaper, when I was redoing it, 2 weeks just to clear out the weeds. I went in and I did, all of the bathrooms on this home. It was a palazzo model. It was in a cul-de-sac, and she wanted everything. She's from Boca, but moved to LA. So her style was kind of like organic, easygoing. I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting, but I'm going to do it because anyone that knows me knows, like, whatever I do, I'm going to do it times 10. So I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to give it my best. So I called in my crew. I redid this house in 6 weeks. Anyone that has done a remodel in a house, they're going to let you know that 6 weeks is a challenge. But, like I said, I have a team of guys, and I think they respect me because they show up, and, I have fun with it. I'll bring them donuts and pizza, and I'll say, hello, buenos dias, or whatever language they speak, and I get them going. And, we had the floors done. It was 9,000 square feet. It's a massive home. I had the landscaper there for 2 weeks. I created a whole outdoor paradise. We painted it shiplap with the wood trim throughout the home with the wood beams. She had the light color wood. It was a amazing job. We did the bathrooms, the tile, we did marble, changed the toilets out, all the lighting, the closets. We did build outs in all of the main areas, the family room, the dining room, we did trim.
So Jen, this home was a true transformation. Every single room with, like you just said, custom molding, custom lighting, flooring. You and your team are so much more than just real estate. And I'm excited that hopefully today people are going to be able to learn more about what really separates you and owning South Florida apart from the rest.
And that is kind of the problem. Everyone says, you need to feature that. And I'm so not good with that. I mean, anyone that lives on my street knows that they see me carrying things in and out to stage and help someone. But I will start sharing some of these projects so everyone can kind of see, and they'll definitely have entertainment, so that's what we're here for.
Jennifer, I really want you to share with us, what is it that when you wake up in the morning, what drives you every day to go above and beyond for your clients? And what is the driving factor behind why you work so hard and what you do?
I have 3 kids, and I have 2 girls. I really, I started real estate. I went right into luxury. I really, where we grow up, I feel is a bubble. And, I grew up in Texas. I've worked, since I was a kid. My parents always, taught me, be grateful, be humble, work hard, do a good job. And I'm trying to show my kids that. I want them to see, hey, look at mom. Because I always tell them, parents, we always say, you can do anything, hard work, but you can say this and that, but you got to show them. And at least, at the end of the day, I really don't care what, anyone thinks, I want to show my girls, if you put your mind to something and if you're really helping someone, it multiplies. You got to help. And when you help, it's a trickle effect. Like, I believe in karma. So honestly, that's what drives me is my girls.
Jennifer, you shared so much with us about this incredible brand that you're building with Owning South Florida. I want you to tell us a little bit about where you see the future of this business and how you're continuing to grow it.
I really want to have a network of people that, that I trust, that I know, like my title guy, that I know he's going to do the job and, check everything for the client to make sure the property is good. My loan guy, that he's going to go above and beyond. And I have that, they're great. My insurance guy, he's amazing. He gets me the best rates, he really does, listens to the scenario, gets it all done. My team, my girl, it has to be the right fit on my team, and I have 3 amazing, amazing girls. Where I want it to go, my vision. I was a flight attendant for 21 years with American Airlines. Good morning. American Airlines flight 123. No, that's a joke. But I've traveled the world, and there's different cultures, and if you really watch me, I understand, different religions, different cultures. I've traveled. That's why I left Texas, because everyone was blonde hair and blue eyes and it looked like me. I wanted my kids to know more, and I think I landed in a good spot, South Florida. So my team, I want a very diverse team. If I have someone that in the neighborhood, like I said before, a Brazilian that needs someone with Portuguese, they like me, but with, business, they need, they feel more comfortable with someone that speaks Portuguese or Spanish or, a Russian client. That's my goal, is to have the right fit. I don't want to just add the seats, because that's not my mission. My mission is to have the right team and people to make a difference.
All right, Jen, I'm going to ask you something personal. Can you share with me one of the greatest compliments that really hit home to your heart that a client shared with you?
When someone says, like, I've turned into family, that's what it's about. It's having that relationship. I did have a client, their kids call me Aunt Jen, and that really hit my heart. I will never forget that. When you do step inside and you're helping them find their home, this couple was, they were kind of going back and forth. They didn't know if they wanted to move from Canada back. And I just loved them. I met them and I really hit it off with them. And through, our journey of finding the home, like the kids were calling me Aunt Jen. And I love it when you connect, and because it's about more than the transaction. It's about creating relationships,
Today was more than just real estate or market insights. It was about building something meaningful, and everything that Jennifer has shared with us has truly embodied that. I look so forward to continuing to work with Jennifer and understanding what really happens behind the listings.